Hello YouTubers and hobbyist benchmarkers, Tudagamon here. In this video I'm going to benchmark Dying Light on a single GTX 1070 paired with my old Core i7-860. This video is recorded on an external recorder at 60 frames per second, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. The system is overclocked for both the CPU and the GPU. The Core i7-860 is operating at 4 GHz, which is my usual benchmarking speed. You don't really need such high core frequency to run this game. Maybe you need it, I'm not sure. I've spoken too soon. 12 GB of system RAM used, and the graphics card is a GTX 1070 made by KF82. It is the EX model. Latest force were installed, and it is also overclocked in order to reach 2 GHz of core clock. Now for this benchmark I'm going to use fraps to collect frame rate data. We will see the basic result in this file and some analysis and comparison with Core i5-2500K with flat at the end of the video. For now, let me launch the game and let's see what kind of performance we can get from this combination of parts. A quick look at the options first. Basically I'm using maxed out settings, 1080p resolution, no vertical sync of course since this is a benchmark, and everything else is at its maximum values. The view distance is maxed out, so this will burden the CPU quite a lot. However, I have also enabled on all the NVIDIA settings, which will put a huge burden on the GPU itself, so the game overall will be very heavy for both the CPU and the GPU. So let's see what kind of benchmarking
Reckon is so desperate he's ready to deal with the devil himself, Rise. And since I'm supposed to determine whether or not Rice is the one who stole the GRE's secret document, well, this is the perfect opportunity.
This is the first time I'm running this benchmark on this system, so we are going to see the performance together. I'm starting the benchmark.
Crane, can you hear me?
Jade? Yeah, I copy. Something wrong?
No, it's Listen, Crane, we all appreciate what you're doing, and I know you're doing it to redeem yourself, because Amir died saving your life.
Look, I'm doing it because if we don't get Antizin from Rice, people will start to die.
You know, I met Amir right after the outbreak. I didn't know him for that long, but he was the best.
Crane, it's Lena.
Go ahead.
We found 2 more vials of that fake antizin. Brecken is boiling mad.
Yeah, I'll bet. How's Bahir?
He's stable, but if we'd gotten to him 10 minutes later, he wouldn't be. This stuff is lethal, Crane. Putting them out of business is your #1 priority.
Alright, understood. Okay, Raheem, I'm here.
Make sure they see you and know who you are. You don't want to sneak up on them. That's a good way to catch a bullet.
Wish me luck, kid.
Good luck, brother. You're going to need it.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Hands up! What the fuck do you want?
I'm here to see Rice. Brecken sent me.
Brecken? That asshole on the tower? Alright, what does he want?
I've come to make a deal.
What kind of deal?
The kind I make with Rice, not with his flunkies.
Alright, let him through. This ought to be entertaining.
How long have we been friends, Osman? We have been friends for a very long time. That is why I'm so surprised that you would steal from me.
Haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Now I give you a choice. Very simple. Your right hand or your left?
Left!
Was that my left or your left? You have the look of the tower about you. What do you want?
I'm here to make a deal.
A deal. For Antazin, no doubt. Desperate times. And what do you offer in return? Your services? Your loyalty? Perhaps I should take both.
Talk to Karim. He's one of ours. Do what he asks of you, and Rise will consider giving your people some Antazin. Understood?
I don't seem to have a choice.
Perceptive.
And this is the end of the benchmark. For i5-2500K system, I'm getting 94 frames per second. I was getting 95 for the Core i5 for the same run. We will verify that in a minute. However, let's take a quick look at MSI Afterburner graphs first. This is the run, the whole duration of the run. The GPU usage hovers at 97 to 98, 99 at some parts. We are having a tiny bit of platform limit. Essentially, it does not look like a CPU limit. The frame rate is quite decent. The frame times are also quite good. We have this huge spike here, which we did see during the run. I think this is hard disk access, not a gaming issue itself. The CPU usage is medium to high. I think we have some very decent multi-threading going on in this game. Indeed, the CPU usage is way above 50%, so that means that essentially all cores, including the logical ones, are doing some actual work. Of course, during the end of the benchmark, during the cutscene, the real-time cutscene, the CPU load was lower, but that is besides the point. Where it's needed, hyper-threading actually works pretty nicely on this game. I'm very happy with it, with this. Of course, as a direct consequence, the CPU temps are a bit higher, but not forbidding. Also, don't forget that I'm using maxed out settings here with no vertical sync, so with this sync everything would be a lot smoother and more manageable in terms of temperatures, of course, due to the increased weight stage. That is not the goal of a benchmark, however. GPU temps are also quite good. Overall system RAM usage at 5 GB. The core clock of the video card is at 2 GHz for the most part, with a small drop of 13 MHz after a point. Video RAM usage at 3.9 GB. Quite demanding, but it is excusable. The game does look very decent. So let's see the comparison. First I'm going to open my previous run with the GTX 1070 and the i5-2500K. I want the dying. The first one, I think it is the first one, the one with the maxed settings at 95 frames per second, correct. And now I'm going to also open the run that we just saw. This one, that is at 93.7 frames per second. The performances are very close together, as you can see. Of course, the Core i5 does have an advantage in the comparable section, but I'm afraid this may be affected by this huge spike here. Okay, we'll verify in a moment. Let's start with the frame times. I'm going to zoom out at the 60 at the 60 milliseconds threshold. Okay, the frame times are very decent, aside from this annoying huge spike in this part, which affected, I don't know, just a few frames. The rest of the frame times are very decent, although we do have some stuttering, as you can see, from frame to frame. Sometimes it disappears. This must be the real-time cutscene section, which is a lot smoother, as you can see. Let me see if the same behavior manifested with the Core i5 run. Okay, as you can see, the frame times of the Core i5-2500K are completely different compared to the Core i7. Although hyperthreading seems to be working nicely in this game, the frame times are not on the same place. Yes, this should make my life a lot easier. Stuttering, it is at 0.238 milliseconds for the Core i5-2500K, but it is at 1.1 milliseconds for the Core i7 run I just did. So overall the variability is about the same, so we have a lot smoother gameplay for the Core i5-2500K, not something that you would perceive with vertical sync, but still it gives us an advantage of 6 frames per second for the comparable of the two systems. However, frame times beyond 16.7 milliseconds are essentially zero. Only the frames that were affected by this spike are measured as beyond 16.7 milliseconds. We have one here, and one here. Nothing too serious. The game is performing very nicely, of course. Let's not be crazy here. And we can see the histogram of the frame times of the 860. Everything is running very fast at 8, 10, 12, 13 and 14 milliseconds, but still I want to see the Core i5 frames. They are of course quite faster. First of all, we do not have this huge frame time spike that pushed all the histogram on the left. We have a much clearer performance, a much cleaner performance for the Core i5. But again, the 860 did a very decent job. You actually have to look at the two runs side by side. You can see that my run is very nicely packed together. I am following an exact path for the game, so this is an excellent test. The average frame times, as you can see, are very close together. We do not have a huge difference, but we can clearly see in the blue lines that the Core i7-860 does have quite higher stuttering. Let's not leave this spike affect us. This is a split second spike. The rest of the blue spikes are the ones that hold the most interest for us. However, overall the game is run at very low frame times, so it is very good. The frame rates are very similar, as we can see here, with a small advantage for the 2500K. Min, max and averages are looking exactly the same. So if you do not do all this analysis for this game, you would never have known the difference. The game felt very smooth to me, to tell you the truth. However, if you start doing number analysis, as I'm doing right now, you can see that the stuttering is crazy. Not crazy, it is 5 times higher for compared to the 2500K, but even so, 5 times higher means that we are going from 0.2 milliseconds to 1.1 milliseconds. We are talking about milliseconds here, guys, so these numbers are not really perceivable by a player. You have to start doing such analysis in order to see all that, and I'm pretty sure that this stuttering is affected by this huge spike here that has been registered during the run. Otherwise we have these tiny spikes here that make the run better on the 2500K, and that's it, my friends. Nothing too worrisome. We can even see that on the percentiles chart. They are very tightly packed together. The run is almost essentially the same. Even the 99th percentile is very close together. Only the frame times graph can show us what actually is going on during the run. This benchmark actually ended up a little more interesting than I expected. We can see the actual advantage of the 2500K over the 860. The frame rate is essentially the same, but due to the increased stuttering, the 2500K has an advantage as for what the player feels while gaming. If you enable vertical sync and start playing at 60 frames per second, you will never know the difference. So overall the 860 is doing a fine job here. Hyperthreading actually works, but with a little stuttering more. Okay, a lot of stuttering more compared to the 2500K, but this a lot more means just 1.1 milliseconds, nothing crazy, nothing to worry about. Another video has reached its end, my friends. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.